All right, ladies and gentlemen, lagging a little bit here. I upgraded to Windows 11, but I got to downgrade again. We're here on Behind the DJ once again. This right here is just incredible because usually we have a lot of guests that come on the channel that we've had DJ on our shows, but this time we have a guest that hasn't DJed on our shows, and this guy right here, there's something special about him. I've decided to bring him on the show. His name's Father Damian because he's actually a DJ. He does Twitch shows once a week at least, and sometimes twice a week. And he's a priest. He's a Catholic priest, and he DJs from his parish. So we're going to talk to him right now. We have Father Damian right here. Father Damian, how you doing?
Hello, your nation. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you. We're in the same time zone.
Awesome.
We're in the same place. Nice and
same
cold.
Time zone. Same city.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice and cold.
Your parish is in Toronto, right?
It's actually mid Toronto. Yes. St. Monica's. Midtown. Yeah. Yonge and Eglinton, right in the heart.
Have you been there? How long have you been there for?
I've been the pastor of St. Monica's for 10 years.
10 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long have you been DJing and being like at that parish simultaneously?
I've only been DJing for 2.5 years. I've been on Twitch for 2 years. October 31st was my 2-year anniversary. And I did about half a year to learn and then went on Twitch right away. So only 2.5 years. I mean, you were a DJ, club DJ before?
Not really a club DJ. We do our own events, but I mostly just do online.
Because I might have like I know there was a DJ that was on your channel. And I mentioned I used to go to Park Avenue nightclub when I was a mechanic. So some of the DJs that the DJ I'm now getting to know here on Twitch when I was a mechanic going to clubs. It's like holy crap.
Right.
I was there listening to your music.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's what, I think somebody how I came across you. I think one of our moderators actually raided into you one time, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? Is this a costume or is this real? Because I saw Father Damian, who was actually DJing, and obviously he was wearing his attire that he's wearing right now, but he was also he was in a church, right? You were in a church.
I'm in the church in the choir loft.
Yeah. Now,
everyone always says it looks like a, and I looked at the replays. It does look like a green screen.
Exactly. So that's what I thought at first. I'm like, this guy's in a green screen. This guy's in front of a green screen. Is he really a priest? I mean, is this like a gimmick or not? But apparently not. And after a few times watching you, well, actually, what ended up happening is that you actually, if somebody donates enough or they use their channel points enough, you walk to the altar, right?
Yes,
yeah. So that's kind of confirmed to me that you weren't using a green screen. I was like, okay, there's no way he could fake this.
And now I take them to the altar. So before I used to walk when I first started. I don't know if you know who DJ Honeyflow is, but she was giving me a hard time. She's like, I think that's a green screen. I think it's fake. I don't know if it's real. And then so I walked to the back, and then I made that a redemption. But then I started taking the camera, the phone, with me all the way to the altar, so they can see my setup. They can see me going down the choir, the stairs from the choir loft, and then going to the altar. And then I show them where I'm usually playing.
I saw that, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen who are watching this right now, it's crazy. Like I was like dumbfounded. I was floored that there's a priest who obviously expresses himself through the music, right? And spreads positive vibes. And of course, you also help the community, right? Because you do giveaways and everything, right? As well.
Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah, every month, $100 Amazon gift cards. I also give another 100, and I give two viewers or followers $100, and the second place $50. This on October 31st, I gave away $400, two $200 gift cards, and four $50 gift cards. I had an auction on my DDJ Flex 6 GT. The Fun Boy, welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. Euromania.
People from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland in the house. Xavier.
We got Samus J from Melbourne.
J. Wow.
Here.
It's morning in Melbourne.
That's right. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, bottom line, you're a priest. You are the pastor, a Catholic priest. You're the pastor of St. Monica Parish in Midtown Toronto, and let's just take people back, because you weren't always a priest. You weren't always a DJ.
No.
And it's like, how did it all come together? Becoming a priest, being a DJ who's a priest, and apparently you were telling us a couple of minutes ago that you were a mechanic. I see a picture here in the back. Yeah,
this
you're dressed. You're is like a cop. Were you your police?
No, that's currently right now. So that's currently, if you want to see my badge. That's currently. Okay.
So are you undercover, as a priest? What's going on here? You're pulling the rug from under us here.
I'm a chaplain to York Regional Police, so I'm the priest. I'm one of the priests for the York Regional Police. So if you live in York Region, you might see me on the road. You might see me in the district headquarters. You might see me hanging around the police a lot. So that's.
What does that mean, being a chaplain for the police?
So the chaplain, basically, so if you think of the military, it started off with the military. So as men and women were going off to war, they would come back with post-traumatic stress disorder, and a lot of them would need spiritual, not just psychological, but they sought help from their spiritual leaders. And so the military quickly adopted chaplains that were spiritual leaders for the men and women who were going to fight, right? So since World War I, or even before then, there's famous paintings of priests, even in the Civil War, being chaplains and praying for the people and praying that, praying for their safety. And so the police adopted that. So we take care of the spiritual needs of the men and women of the York Regional Police. So whether they're officers or whether they're civilian members, they can come and ask us many things or questions. We do the prayers. We do things like we do their graduation ceremonies, their blessings. We do ceremonies, prayer breakfasts. There's a whole bunch of different things that we are there to do, but primarily we're there to be a spiritual guide for the men and women of York Regional Police.
This is a very interesting question by Euromania here, because obviously the police matters are very confidential and very serious in nature. Does that cause a conflict of interest when somebody's going to confession, like a police officer, and there's a case involved? No.
Yeah, because if you know the Catholic, even the Catholic and Orthodox theology on the sacraments, the sacrament of reconciliation or confession, it's there's a seal on it because it's really Christ who the individual is going to ask for forgiveness from. So they're confessing their sins to Christ. The priest is standing and Christ is using the words of the priest, and so there is a seal that's there that just so that everyone in the chat and yourself know that the moment you tell the priest in confession your sin, and he absolves you, and that's the seal. There's a seal in the confessional that the priest will never break, to the point that even if the priest, the government or someone says, look, you gotta tell us or you'll go to jail, the priest would go to jail first, because the consequences are grave for the priest, meaning the priest gets excommunicated automatically from the church, right? So we get a late sententiae, which is no sentence, and we're automatically excommunicated from the church. So we can't even practice. The only way we can be forgiven that is we have to go to the Holy See in Rome and ask for forgiveness there by the Holy Father.
So you're saying under no circumstances, like somebody, like hypothetically, they come, they're like, I killed someone, I committed murder. There's no way you can tell anybody if they're confessing to to God, to Christ.
No, the only moral obligation I have is to strive to convince the individual to that if they're truly penitent, that they want to make reparation for their sin, that they should turn themselves in and pay, like they're saying sorry to God, that they want to be reconciled, but they should also pay back, because the action that you do has temporal damage that you've done. So if you murdered someone, you've not only killed that one person, but you've also hurt the family members, you've hurt the loved ones, you've hurt the community, you've hurt so many other people, that there should be a justice that's done, and to know and to try to talk to them about how as a priest we can journey with them and still be with them. If they're in jail, we'll still accompany them and be with them, but there does need, but ultimately after that confession, once they leave, I can't even like if it was a face-to-face confession, like some places have face-to-face confession, I can't look at the person again saying, I wonder, did this guy go in, or I have to literally throw it out of my head and not.
That's very hard to do. But okay, that's very interesting stuff. So okay, we just took a left turn here, but completely. But hey, this is what it's all about. It's a conversation, and given the fact that you're a chaplain for the police, York Region Police here in Canada, I see that you're wearing a uniform in the back, and there's a portrait there. You have a badge. Like, are you technically like an honorary police officer in a sense?
I'm actually ranked as inspector. So
really,
it's a senior officer. Yeah, fourth. I was sworn in. I've got a badge number. I've been sworn in. I'm technically I don't have my uniform here, but technically I'm ranked as an inspector. I don't know. Maybe I can find one. Maybe I can find a picture here and show it to you. I don't know if it's going to come out clear or not.
Yeah.
I don't know if it
will. More research. Now we got a cop on the show. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Were you doing drugs?
Gotta hide under the table here.
I don't know if you can see this. This is me.
That's you, and
that's inside the cruiser. That's the
mic, the walkie-talkie, and then
that's a C8 and the shotgun. This is me on the Lake Simcoe,
right,
by Barrie.
Okay.
You see how much shorter I am compared to the police officer?
Yeah, I mean that doesn't mean anything, but
that's how short.
So have you gotten like training? I mean,
yeah, I have. This is my epileps. So
yeah,
I'm ranked as an inspector. That's an inspector's epaulet.
Right.
So that, yeah, I do use of force training. I do firearms. I do you name it. I do it. Let me see if I have something here.
Oh my goodness. This is
obviously no firearms here.
This is taking a left turn and twists.
But I know I had something here.
Big ups,
Oh, there it is.
Tom Cash, DJ Tom Cash in the house from Ireland. What is that? A baton?
The extendable baton, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. There's some other things too. It's almost like, so if someone wants to break into the church, it's almost like saying, you could try, but you know, I don't think they'd want to. But yeah,
it's kind of one of those things where it's like you're a priest, and if somebody confesses their sins to you, you know, you have to keep it in secrecy. But then you're also you have technical jurisdiction and the ability to arrest somebody. I mean,
I don't have the
right?
I don't have the ability to arrest.
You don't?
No,
Okay.
because you need a warrant card for that. So my badge is a chaplain's badge, and because I'm ranked as an inspector, so the senior rankings of the officers, it's not I'm not a constable or a detective, or I don't have a warrant badge to arrest anyone, but my ranking is given so that one, I have clearance anywhere. So I'm a senior officer, so I can go anywhere, do anything I want in the York Regional Police organization. So if I need to go into a building, like certain parts of the building is restricted to constables, first class constables, second class constables. Certain things are restricted to detectives only, but as an inspector, I can go anywhere and walk anywhere with my code and just go anywhere I want.
That is insane. And you know what? I didn't know this about you. And this is very interesting. So we touched on that. I mean, we'll touch more on that after, I guess, on how that came to be, because I'm sure there's an interesting story behind that. But so, where did you grow up? Did you grow up here in Canada or in Toronto?
I was born in Guyana, South America.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not Filipino. Everyone thinks I'm Filipino. I was born in Guyana, came up with my mom and dad and my two older sisters in 1980. So I'll let you do the math. I was 5 years old. And I went to school here in Canada, though. Junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten. Grew up in Scarborough. So my home school was, and home parish was St. Thomas More on Ellesmere and just east of Markham Road, Dormington. I don't know if you know the area that well, but that was I grew up on Scarborough Golf Club, and then we would walk to school at St. Thomas More, and then I started altar serving in grade 3 after First Communion. So my parents would always drop us off at the church because they went to work early, and the church was open, and then we'd have mass, and then by that time kids would be coming into the school and school would start at 9. I think it's 9 o'clock. It would start. Mass started at 8, ended at 8:30. Teachers and students started coming in at 8:30 into the parking lot and into the school, and so we would play outside after mass. So we were inside taken care of by the parishioners, which is something like in the 80s, man. People would just leave their kids, and they trusted that the people would take care of them, right? Without being, I don't know if you do that in today's world, but
no, much simpler times.
Yeah, back then, yeah, we were raised by the old women that were in the church would watch over us and make sure we're okay, and then mass is over, and then we would walk over to the school, and and then I started seeing altar servers serve during the weekday masses, and I was like, oh, I want to do that rather than just sit and listen to the priest. I want to do things. So that's where
Mhm.
I started becoming an altar server like that. Then I went to school. I became a mechanic, a licensed mechanic, and I was still serving mass on Sundays. But I was going clubbing, man. I went clubbing almost every single day of the week. So there was always,
Really?
there was like Wednesday night was Fluid, Thursday night was 108, Friday
Mhm.
night was could be anywhere from Paparazzi's, Palazzos, uh, the Docks,
Yeah.
NRG. I don't know if you remember NRG. I think it used to be
Yeah,
called.
I remember
It used to
hearing.
be called the World. It used to be called.
Okay.
I think it was called the World back when I was in high school.
Right.
And there's just a whole bunch of places. Limelight. What's the other place? Government. Places where I would get in for free with my best friend's sister. And then Saturdays the same thing. And there was a lot. Sundays were Misty's. I don't know if you remember Misty's freestyle.
No, before my time.
Oh, it was before your time because Tony Monaco played live 103.5 every Sunday was live at Misty's with Tony
Right.
Monaco, right? So so
Wow.
I would always go with my friends, right? We were mechanics. I drove a Shelby, a Dodge Daytona Shelby, a yellow one. Let me see if I. Oh,
Oh wow.
that's my yellow one. That's me in the track pants. And then
Oh my God. Right. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and because we were mechanics, we all worked for Chrysler. I was having 25-pound boosts from my Shelby, and it cost us a total of maybe $20. We made $20. So people would pay a lot of money, and we would just do it on our own and make it really like Schrader valves and little fish Schrader valves to bleed off the vacuum, and then we would make it go faster. But yeah, so I was a mechanic, and so because I was clubbing every single night, almost every single night, and then we would go to Just Desserts that was on West Beaver Creek and Highway 7, right by Paparazzi's. Was it Paparazzi's?
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
So we had like we knew not only all the waitresses, we knew the managers and stuff like that. So we would get so if you were ever there and you got kicked out and we took your spot, we were those guys that took your spot. And we would be the guys, the obnoxious guys that walk to the back. You know how like you're being served, but we would walk to the back, make our own stuff, go back and start eating it, right?
Yeah.
Because we would tip them a lot of money. Like we would just tip a lot. I would go walking with at least $300, and back then, in the '90s, $300 is a lot, right? Not
100%.
And so I'd be giving shots to everyone, drinks to everyone, and because I was living at home, I didn't have any expense, and as a licensed mechanic, I'm making good money, right? So.
So with the whole mechanic situation, this is what you wanted to be from early on? Like you like cars, you wanted to be a mechanic? That was like your
I wanted to be an accountant.
An accountant? Who wants to be an accountant?
In high school, I did all my business courses. I did marketing. I did the Junior Achievement Program. Junior Achievement Program, if you don't know, is there's a bunch of business people that help students. They run a new they open up a company and then they try to sell shares, and they make a product and they sell it, and they run that company for about a school year, and then they dissolve it. And so Junior Achievement helps entrepreneurs and young high school kids get their feet into like the business world, so that most of them will want to end up going into business or doing something, running their own business. But for me, I was like VP of finance 2 years in a row for the junior achievement companies that we ran. I did my grade 11 and OAC accounting. I did all my OAC, and I really wanted to become an accountant because my dad's friend was an accountant and he had a Jaguar. I'm like, oh man, I want to become an accountant. But I became a mechanic because in 1994, when the recession hit, my dad lost his job. It became redundant. He was working for Noranda Inc. for a long time, since he came to Canada in the 1980s, and they let him go. His job became redundant. They let him go, and he's searching for a new job. And I didn't have. My sisters were going. One was going to university. The other one was going to Centennial College. One was going to York University. The other one Centennial College. And my dad didn't have enough money to send me to U of T or anywhere for accounting. So as he's looking for jobs, he came across an article, or not article, but advertisement that the government of Ontario and Chrysler Canada and Cars Knowledge, which is the Canadian automotive research sector, they were looking to give 20 scholarships for automotive, right? And then my dad gave it to me. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? He goes, it's a free education. Just do it. And I'm like, okay, well, free education. And then I did it. I went in, took the entrance exam. Then I was interviewed with a panel of 4 people, from the ministry to the teachers to Chrysler Canada, and then they eventually, after the interview and after the tests, they offered me one of the spots of the 20. Apparently, there was the first round. There was like 800 people that went through, and then they interviewed 200. They narrowed it down to 250 people. And then out of the 250, there were 20 spots. And so this was a modified program. So usually if you're doing it in college, it would be 5 years, right? So you would go into the shop, and then you do 1 semester, go into the shop, do 1 semester, go into the shop, do 1 semester. And that would take like a total of 5 years. Or I forgot, it was like something like 25,000 hours or something like that. I can't remember. But we went in and we started from the beginning, like 9 a.m. all the way till 5 p.m. And it took us 1 year to finish 70 something percent of our hours were all incorporated with that 1 year. So it took us one year. It took me a total of 2.5 years to become licensed. So I was with the education that I had, and then another 1.5 years, I became a licensed mechanic after that. And I was at Bob Bannerman Motors, which wasn't even too far from here. It was on, at the time, Eglinton and Bermondsey. So I'm at Yonge and Eglinton, right? So
yeah.
So Eglinton and Bermondsey, by across from Paul Wilson's, where there's the Swinging Girl. If you know Scarborough, and you go down to Eglinton and Victoria Park area, it was west of Victoria Park. You'll see a girl on a swing, and it's
Okay.
It's for advertisement for Paul Wilson's Chrysler, which was across the street, and I was at Bob Bannerman Motors, which was a Jeep Eagle dealership at the time. Chrysler took them over, and then we were moved to Don Mills, and then so the whole story goes like, so I was a mechanic, and I was partying and going clubbing every single day. And then there came a point when I was 24 years old and my friends took me to a Park Avenue nightclub. And I was in the middle of the dance floor, and I can remember very clearly, like just having an empty feeling, like a deep, empty, hollow feeling. Like even though I dated people, even though I drove a fast car, even though I traveled, even though I went clubbing, even though I did things that I wanted to do and spent money, I was just empty. There was something missing. And so that feeling stayed there for weeks. And then I thought, oh, I should go to confession, because it was like, I think it was like 10, or wait, I was 24. Yeah, 10 years since my last confession. So confirmation, grade 9 I was 14 in grade 9. That was the last time I went to confession. And then I'm 24 now, and I figured, oh, I should go to confession. So I went to confession. I had 12 pages full of sins back to front. Then when I went to the priest, I confessed all my sins, and I was absolved of those sins. There was a peace that I got that I never felt in my entire life. So even if I had money, even if I had girls, even if I went clubbing, there was a peace that was there that was I just never felt. So I thought, oh, that means I gotta settle down, find a good Catholic girl, get married, have children, begin to live my life like that. But it ended up leading me anyways to the priesthood. Right? So I then became a priest. And then in 2008, in the priesthood, there's a lot of, it takes a lot of years. Like I took 7 years. I've got 3 different degrees. I've got a Bachelor of Catholic Thought, which is in Aristotelian and Thomistic thought, Aristotle and St. Thomas Aquinas. That's philosophy. And then I've got a theological baccalaureate and a master's of divinity. So the 7 years of studies, I got 3 degrees out of that. And it took a while for that. So 7 years in the seminary. And then in 2008, I was ordained, and I was stationed up in Aurora as my very first place as an associate. So there was a pastor and then myself.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where the bishop came up and asked me, York Regional Police is looking for a Catholic chaplain. I was appointed. There was no, how you said there must be a very interesting story about me becoming York Regional Police chaplain. It wasn't interesting at all. I was just pointing.
Well, there must have been something that led them to choose you. I wonder what that was.
It was probably what I say is this: is probably one, headquarters is in York Region, and at the time the headquarters was in Newmarket, just north of Aurora, and 2, I was an associate, so I didn't have as much responsibility as a pastor. So they said, "Oh, we'll give it to Damian. He's right there, right?" And so yeah, because then other priests, if they were further away, they would have to travel in to York Region, or they have to travel to get sworn in, to do all the things and to get the training. And so they just said, "Well, he's there. He's a new priest. He's got no responsibility. Just, send him." Pastor said it was okay. Then they asked me, and I said, "Sure, no problem." That was it.
Are you the only one, like the only chaplain for your
No,
region?
there's oh my goodness. I'm the only Catholic chaplain, but there are at least 14. There's 2 imams, there's 2 rabbis. It almost sounds like a joke. There's a rabbi, imam, and a priest walk into a bar. There's 2 rabbis, 2 imams. There are several Christian denominations. Like there's an Anglican minister. One of the famous ones we have is Herbie Kuhn, the voice of the Raptors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the voice of the Raptors. He's also the chaplain for the Argos and the Raptors. So he's he is a York Regional Police chaplain also. We have we have Seventh Day Adventists. We have Chinese Chinese Baptists. We have a whole bunch. We have like a lot of chaplains. But I'm doing York region.
We got Tom Cash asking if you ever been to Ireland.
I have not been to Ireland. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, Tom. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
But so does this chaplain these duties? Did they ever interfere with anything that you have to do with the church or anything? And I mean, you're in Toronto now, so
Yeah.
I mean, is that even relevant still? That you're for your like?
Yeah, I was just up in 2 District today. Like today, I was just in 2 District. So I get scheduled, and sometimes what will happen is I have my schedule, and then officers will ask to come and see me. So I spent 3 hours speaking with a sergeant up in York Region, and that that was scheduled in, right? So and then other police officers, they have my number. They literally, so I have business cards. Let me see. Where's my York Regional Police business card? So I have York Regional Police business cards, right? And they have my cell number and my cell number and my email. So I have members reaching out to me all hours of the night, all hours of the day, and then I return their call, or sometimes it's an emergency. Sometimes like someone dies, and then the family member, they find out they're Catholic, they don't know what to do, and so I would put on my clothes and drive out, talk to the family, stuff like that. But they have my number, and but for the most part, what they do is, if it can wait, they'll ask me when am I free, and then I'll schedule them in. So I looked at my schedule and I said, okay, Tuesday I'm free after mass till about 3:00. So I went in at 11:00, right? And then I was able to get there for 11, and then come back in time for my other schedule stuff here. So first and primary, though, according for the cardinal or the archbishop now for the diocese, is the parish is first, and then the chaplaincy is a secondary ministry. And then I added a third, which is Twitch.
Yeah. We still have to get to that. But I do want to touch on a couple of things though. So you said you were born in Guyana. Are you? So you have no Filipino in you?
Nope.
That's surprising, because I was convinced you're Filipino.
Yeah, because like Filipinos are Spanish and Chinese, right? And like Asian, right? So I do have Chinese. I have Chinese background. I have Indian background. I have Portuguese background, Scottish, which is why who's it, DJ Tom? I don't know if you'd want me there in Ireland, because but because I'm a priest, maybe in Ireland. But I do have Scottish background, Portuguese, Dutch, Indian, and Chinese, right? So I'm mixed, and that's why the features, they're just all over. Just so the Filipinos also have a mixture of stuff like that too, right? So they have a mixture of Spanish and that's why you'll see they have like Spanish names, and some of their words are even Spanish, like "Cómo está," like or some of their words are Spanish words, right?
You were talking about the moment that you felt empty when you were at a club. I mean, it seems like you were living like I'd say like a normal life. You were a mechanic, You were dating. You were going partying. You know, as a 24-year-old, that seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
But once you went to this confession with the 12 pages and everything, and then you went about your life, what led you to actually take that leap to become a priest? I mean, and what was the reaction of the people around you to that?
Oh yeah. So the one thing was my best friend got into a car accident, and then his family convinced him. He's Filipino. His family convinced him that he should go to a retreat, right? So there's a charismatic retreat, and his family, his aunts and uncles were really big into this Filipino charismatic community, Catholic community, and they convinced him that he should go because life is short and he should get to know God, because he was clubbing too, just as much as I was clubbing and doing different things. And I said, so he approached me and said, "Hey, I think you'd like to come." And I'm like, "Why me? I don't want to go." But then he said, it's a singles encounter. There's single women there. I'm like, "Oh, so that's where I'm going to get my wife." Because at the point, remember, I have a conversion experience. I think I got to settle down, stop going clubbing, find a wife. So where to find a better wife than in a Catholic singles encounter, right? So these are Catholic young adults that are looking for Christ also, and trying to get to know their faith. So what a good place. And in fact, it was I didn't take it seriously in terms of prayer and stuff like that. So much so that they kept on, after every like they would give talks and stuff like that, and after every break, I'd find like I'm playing musical chairs. Like they would move me from one chair to the next to another one, because I'd be sitting next to a girl and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And talking to the girl, right? "Hey, I'm Damian. How's it going? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah." And I guess I was disturbing them, and I didn't know there was a camera, and the organizers were looking. So they just changed my name and moved me other places. And then eventually they just started putting me next to my cousin, who came also. I'm like, "Oh, I can't do that." My cousin. So I didn't do that. I didn't think of anything like that. But it was from there that they asked me to do a Life in the Spirit seminar, and to also give a testimony of me going to this retreat. And I was like, to be honest, I don't think I can tell you what hit me on this retreat, because I wasn't really paying attention. So they told me, go to this Life in the Spirit seminar. So I went to the Life in the Spirit seminar, and then it was there that I started feeling a little bit more drawn to the priesthood, right? And then there are things I don't want to seem kind of crazy, but there are things also that happened, like dreams and things like that were happening, that kind of led me towards saying, well, I think it's something more. And then in December of that year, December of 2000, I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt a sharp tug in my heart to quit my job and pursue the priesthood. So I got up, wrote my resignation letter, right? And then went back to sleep. And the next day, handed it in. And at the time, I was actually the shop foreman. So I was second in command. I was a shop foreman.
You screwed everyone over.
Someone else will get
this guy just got up and left.
Someone will get my job, so they'll love it, right? So,
okay.
I was only 24, right? So there were much
Yeah.
older, much more senior mechanics that wanted that job, and yet they trusted me, and they entrusted me with that job as a shop foreman. So I got in. I went to my manager. My manager looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, it doesn't surprise me." And then he took the letter and he put it into his drawer and closed it. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, well, I'm only going to accept it if you know you're accepted into the seminary. And he wasn't Catholic. He was a Christian though, but he's like, do you know what it means to become a priest? Do you know if you're accepted? I'm like, nope. He said, well, we won't accept the letter. I won't accept the letter of resignation until I know that you're accepted into the seminary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty good because I still had my job at that point. So
yeah, I mean, that's very gracious of him. You could have, like, well, what if it's like,
what if they're like, no,
you don't
you're
get
not
accepted?
called to be a priest? I'm like, oh darn. But
yeah, you don't get accepted, and then you're out of a job, and then
but the thing with licensed mechanics, right? I can get a job like this. I can get a job like this, no problem, for Chrysler,
right?
Because one, I had a Chrysler scholarship, and I aced everything like 100% and everything. I have all the technical training for all the newer cars and all their electronics and stuff like that. So I would be valued for any Chrysler dealership that wanted me. And then even my last position that I was at, and leaving the last position, I wasn't leaving because I was a terrible mechanic. I was leaving because I thought I was called to the priesthood. So who's going to fault you for that? Right?
Yeah.
So I knew I always had a backup. Because once you're licensed, you know how to do. I even fix my car and my motorcycle now. Like, it's not like I don't know how to do things, right? And so, right. Yeah, once the knowledge is there, the knowledge is there. That's what my dad had told me. Go for it. You know, education is education. They can't take it away. Okay. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, so then I went to my parents and I told them I quit my job. Right. So I did go quit my job, but it wasn't accepted. But I didn't tell my parents I still have my job. I told them I sit down. I quit my job. I feel I'm called to be a priest. And I was expecting, because my parents are Catholic, right? We went to church every Sunday. They woke us up. We had to be woken up 8:00 morning mass on Sunday, right? And they would drop us off every day to the church for mass, right? So they were very back in Guyana. They were in the choir for the church. They were doing very many things for the church. So I was surprised at my dad's response. My mom was like silent. She just sat there like, I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do? And then my dad's like, well, he goes, you're so fickle. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, when you were younger, you wanted the GoBots and the Transformers and the G.I. Joes. And, I'm the youngest and I'm the only boy. So I would ask my mom all the time for things and I would get it. Right. So I want the latest Transformers. I would get it. Then I would stop playing with it. I want the G.I. Joe. I would get it. I had like all my bunk beds and everything were all filled with all the G.I. Joes and all the different bases and all the different action. I put it into different like fight scenes and stuff like that. And then I had my Transformers and the GoBots and stuff like that. And they just started collecting dust because I very easily, but I was young. And then I said to my dad, I'm like, I'm not fickle. I became a mechanic. I was licensed. I did it. Now I feel God is calling me to the priesthood. And my dad started telling me all these things about the priests, right? It's not like how it was in the 60s. They're not put on a pedestal. People hate priests. Look at all the pedophiles. Look at all this stuff in the news. Why are you're gonna live such a hard life as a priest? You're gonna be lonely. You're not gonna have a wife. You're not gonna have children. So he's listing all these things.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got peeved, and I'm like, hey, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm an adult. That's the first time. I'm an adult. I'm just telling you out of courtesy what I'm doing. I'm not asking for your permission. And then I kind of stepped back a little because I don't know, like, and if this was broadcast now, but back then parents could beat their children, right? So West Indian parents would beat their children. So I was stepping back thinking, oh my goodness. He's gonna take out his belt and give me some licks, even though I'm an adult and I'm bigger than he is, right? So, but I'm talking back to him saying, hey, I'm just out of courtesy. I'm just telling you out of courtesy, not asking for your permission. Anyways, he said nothing. And to be honest, the 7 years of my seminary formation, my parents said zero. When I graduated from the oratory and I got my first degree in Bachelor's of Catholic Thought, they weren't even there. When I got accepted into St. Augustine's for theology, it was my uncle and my best friends, my friend Tony I shouldn't say his name. My good friends and my best friends, they're all from high school, from Pope John Paul. They all came, they all brought my stuff, helped me move into the seminary and stuff like that. But my parents were like so far off, and then they were distant. And I thought, oh man, they really don't like me becoming a priest, because I guess I'm gonna I'll kill my family name, because I'm the last. So my last name, I don't care, because it's public anyways. You look up Catholic, you look up St. Monica's Parish, you're gonna get my name, St. Monica's Toronto. So I don't hide about where I am, or because I'm already public to begin with. So my last name is Young Sam Yu, and I'm the last Young Sam Yu in the world, next to my dad and my mom. So both
MC Tom, we got a moderator here, MC Tom, who's actually an AI bot. He's really not. Can you verify this?
Yeah, verify. Look it up on the phone book. You're only going to see 2 Young Sam Yus. So you're
the world, like the world though, the world.
In the world, and I'll tell you why only in the world. Our real last name is Young. So when my grandfather immigrated from China to Guyana, he couldn't speak English, so they had a translator, and the translator asked, "What is your name?" And they did this for a lot of West Indian, like Chinese that went to the West Indies. And my grandfather said Young Sam Yu. So the last name is first, and the first and second name are second. So his last name is Young, and his name is Sam Yu. He's the third boy, Ya-i Sam, and his name is Yu, right? So they wrote it down, Young Sam Yu, as the last name, put the hyphens in between, so it sounds phonetical. And then the interpreter's like, "What's your first name?" And my grandfather was like, didn't know what he's talking about. My name is Young Sam Yu, right? Because they don't go by first or whatever. Like, Ip Man, the movie Ip Man? Ip Man?
Are you talking about IP Man?
Yeah, it's Ip Man. It's not IP Man. It's actually pronounced.
okay, because
it's pronounced Ip Man, right?
Really?
Ip is the last name.
I'm learning a lot of stuff today.
Ip is the last name. Sifu Ip Man. Man is the first name, right? So Ip Man, Ip Man is the Chinese name of the Sifu of Bruce Lee, right? And so so my grandfather was like Young Sam, and then so the British just gave him an English name, said, "Okay, you're Joseph in front." So my grandfather was the first Young Sam Yu, right? And then my grandfather had my dad, who's the eldest, my aunt, and my uncle, who died earlier. So he died at a young age. So my uncle would have passed it on, but it was only my dad that had the name to pass on, because my aunt took on her married name, Stobie, and her children are Stobies. And my dad is Young Sam Yu. Then my dad had 2 girls at the beginning, and then me. So that's why you will only find in history, or like currently right now, not in history. In history, there are only 4 Young Sam Yu males: my grandfather, my dad, his brother, and myself. And currently, there are only 2 Young Sam Yus: my dad and myself. So the name Young Sam Yu dies with me. not young, but young Samu.
So he what ended up happening? Did they show up to your
Oh, yeah, they showed up to the ordination,
ordination?
but you know what it is? That I found out later on. So when I was in my fourth year of theology, so one more year to go before ordination, I was home for summer, and someone gave a call, and I picked up the call, and it was one of my dad's friends, and I guess I might have sounded like my dad, so he's like, Winston. I'm like, no, this is his son, Damian. He goes, oh, you're the one that's going to become a priest. I'm like, yeah, I'm the one in the seminary going to become a priest. Yes. So it acknowledged that my dad's talking about me, right? So, and then afterwards, I found out from my parents that they really did. My mom wanted to become a nun, right? And but then end up meeting my dad, and they didn't want pressure on me. Like, they didn't want them. Like, if I thought they wanted me to become a priest, I might felt pressured, and it wouldn't be my free choice to become a priest. So they wanted to remove that by just ignoring it, right? So that's what I found out later on. But yeah.
But I mean, during that time, did you even like see them, or were you talking
Oh
to them
yeah,
at all?
yeah. I
Or?
saw them every week.
Okay.
Because the seminary was
They just weren't talking about the
priesthood.
what
Yeah,
you-
the
yeah,
seminary
priesthood.
the seminary literally was like 2 minutes away from my grandmother, like on Kingston Road there, and then my parents, it was like a 10-minute drive to Morningside and Shepherd area, right? So it's like
Okay.
I went to my parents every single Friday, took care of my dad's mom, and then yeah, it's not like, but look, they're the biggest supporters of me. Whether my siblings, my sisters, if you ever come on my channel and you're like, holy crap, how come Father Damian is like on a level 7 hype train or level 8 hype train, right? And I have DJ saying I can barely get to level 2. How come he's at level 7? Right? And you take a look, like it's my family that's throwing the bits all the time.
Oh, you think so? Well, so, right?
Right? I know. And my family's always there and always supporting, and whatever I do.
Right.
So I know that I know they kind of get props also from people like the priests in the diocese, because they know they're my parents, and so when my mom goes to church, oh, Father Damian's my son. Oh, hello, Mrs. Young Samu. Right? They get a different type of treatment, right? So
yeah, I know that when you're going through that, when you're working to become a priest, that's a decision that is so you're so sure of, right? Because it comes from within. But did you at any point in your journey have any like second thoughts, be like, I don't know, maybe you know what I mean, right? Like,
yeah, I know, because I was also one of my roles as a priest when I in 2010 I was the assistant vocation director of the Archdiocese of Toronto. So I went to go promote vocations. I was also the dean of students at the minor seminary. So I would always hear those same like questions, like how do I know God really wants me here, or I'm feeling like I might be lonely, or I might need a wife or something like that, right? And so I never doubted for two real reasons. The first has to do with sort of a miracle, right? So when I was feeling like I was called to the priesthood, so I wasn't accepted yet to the seminary. So I quit my job, and now I'm telling the pastor that I feel like I'm called to the priesthood, and I have to call the vocation director at the time, And I told him I quit my job and I want to become a priest. And he kind of discouraged me at that point. He was like, "Hey, why'd you quit your job? Do you have a university degree?" And I'm like, "Nope. I have automotive license and I went to school for automotive." It's like, "No, you're going to need a university degree, an undergrad before going into theology, and you're going to need money and you're going to need this and that." And then I was like, "Well, I don't know. I mean, I felt called to the priesthood." And he said, "Well, I'll tell you what." So they had a program called the associates program. So we would meet once a month in prayer. So remember, this is December when I got the tug. So now January would be the first time I go to to an associates meeting. So I go to the associates meeting. I meet other men who are interested in entering into Sarah House, the a minor seminary for philosophy. And we do a little bit of prayer, a little bit of mass, a little bit of discussion, then we eat. So I'm at my church and I'm altar serving. I'm telling the old ladies, I think I'm called to be a priest. I think I'm now in the associates program at Sarah House, discerning whether I should become a priest. And then this old lady said, "Well, do you know what type of priest you're going to be?" I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Are you going to be a Jesuit, a Franciscan, Dominican? There's like a whole bunch of different orders of priests." And I said, "I thought there's only one priest, the priesthood, the order of the priest. That's it. There's only one priest."
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "No, there's a lot." So I was so confused. I went to the deacon and I said to the deacon at the church, I said, how did you know where you want to be?" And he said, "Listen, you just pray to God and tell him to show you a sign." And he was very charismatic. He goes, "You tell him to show you a sign and he's going to show you a sign." Like, okay. So I went home and I said, "Okay, God, I said yes to your call to the priesthood. You tell me where to go and I'm going to go." So at the time, because I was a nighttime shop foreman at Scarborough Town Dodge, my parents gave me the entire basement of the house, but I only had my bed in the bedroom portion, and my high school room that was upstairs had my desk and the bookshelves. And so I wanted to take my desk and bookshelf downstairs so I can start sitting down and journaling what God is speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I emptied all the books, brought down the shelf first, and then I'm taking this big desk down, and I got to carry it down myself, right? So I carry it from upstairs, the second floor, all the way to the basement. So I'm emptying the drawers. And at this time, I thought, okay, you know what? It's really a good opportunity for me to throw away garbage that I piled up since high school, since grade 8 in high school, because we moved into that house since grade 8 in high school. And so I started throwing away all the old pens and papers and stuff like that. And I got a couple garbage bags. I'm dumping it in there. Some things I saved, like, the Sunshine Girl. So I had friends that were Sunshine Girls and models in the car magazines and turbo magazines, and they would sign it, autograph it, right? So I kept those things, right? So I'm like, oh, these are my friends. They signed it for me, so I'm gonna keep it, right? In case they become famous, right? And it's worth something. It's worth something. And so I kept those things, and I got to the bottom drawer, and I'm trying to empty it out, and there's a piece of paper stuck in the back. And I'm so lazy, I was trying my best to make it fall out. I didn't want to put the drawer down and then pick it out and then throw it in. And anyways, I had to do that because it was stuck. It was stuck between wedged right between the bottom and the back board, so that I had to pull it out. So I pull it out, and it is the application form for St. Augustine Seminary as a diocesan priest.
Mm.
And I went to my parents right away and said, "Hey, did you guys put this in my room?" My parents looked at me like, "Who would ever go in your room? Where would we ever see that before? Like, no one came to my room or our house, right? And no one else has been in my room but me. So where would that come from? No one knows where it came from." But it was a definite application form to St. Augustine Seminary as a diocesan priest. So I knew 100%. Okay, there's the sign. I'm called to be a priest for the Archdiocese of Toronto. So I never had that second thought all the time, because I had that event that happened in my life, right? So
no, that's pretty insane. Wow. Yeah, and so in terms of the things that you enjoy in your life, or you enjoyed prior to becoming a priest, have you had to make have you had to make sacrifices? Or because I know you do the motorcycle thing, you ride a motorcycle, you DJ, obviously you enjoy the music. Like what's I mean, has it been challenging to upkeep things that you like, and balance them out with things that
I guess the challenge would be time, right? So
Mhm.
it's always about time. Time is always
Mhm.
something that you get less and less of the more and more.
Mhm.
As a pastor, I have less and less time. So some of the things I do, like, it's not every single week or every single day, but it would be,
Mhm.
I have to split it. So if I have like 4 hobbies or 5 hobbies, I do magic also, right? I do illusions.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so to balance it, I got to do like I only get 1 day off a week, right?
Yeah.
So I only get 1 week to do one thing, the next week to do another thing, the next week to do another thing, the next week to do another thing, rotate, right? So obviously, like in the winter, I'm not going to ride my motorcycle. This year, I didn't ride my motorcycle that much this year, for
Mhm.
for actually 3 reasons. One was it was raining and humid is one. So the older I get, before, when I was younger, if it was humid, I don't care. I would just ride, and I would be stupid about it. I have all this gear, and I would
Mhm.
never even ride with the gear, just my helmet and gloves and my
Mhm.
boots, if it's really hot, right? So, but as I got older, it's like, well, I want to go on the highway. If I'm going to go on the highway, I should really wear my leathers, like some gear, just in case. Um,
Mhm.
and then I think to myself, going, "Oh, it's so humid. I don't want to wear this. I don't want to put this on," right?
Yeah.
And then I just made excuses like this year. So I'm like, "Oh, I gotta get new music for for Sunday show. I gotta get more house music. I
Mhm.
gotta prep the music. I gotta do all this stuff. I gotta get things ready." And then there's other hobbies I do also with the police and things like that for training
Mhm.
that I do once a month, that I don't bother, like I'm, no pun intended, religious about those things, right? So once
Mhm.
a month I'm always finding new music. Once a month I'm always doing that one hobby, with the by Ontario Police College. Uh,
Mhm.
Once a month I'm always what is it, practicing, like, my old magic tricks, right? Because you kind of forget. There's so many
Mhm.
things. So sometimes one magic trick actually is like several small tricks, right? To do one magic trick. So you
Right.
kind of
Right.
gotta remember the steps and remember the the pattern and remember the tricks. So I've done that. There's a magic trick redemption on my show also.
Are you able to show us a quick trick? Is that possible, or is that not in the cards?
No pun intended, not in the cards.
On the cards.
I guess I can. I mean, I always have like decks of cards lying around somewhere.
Okay.
I have decks of cards. I have so many different things. I don't know. This one, I guess I'll do a quick one, like a really simple one. I guess I don't. Do you want me to stand? I don't need to stand.
It's up to you.
I do need to get like a basket or something because I'm gonna throw these things in.
Hmm.
I'm looking for a basket. Shoots, nothing there. Come on. Okay. All right. I think I found something. Ooh. Okay, I found a basket. All right. So, this trick is kind of, this is my finishing trick that I normally do when I have a set, like when I do a whole routine. When I do a whole routine, this is the last card trick I normally do. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna it's called waterfall. So I make a waterfall of all the cards. Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then I say, think of a number. Right? You got it?
Are you asking me if I see it?
No. Did it go too quick?
Okay.
So the key is that you see the cards shuffle, you see the cards go in to the bucket. It's
Right.
hard when it's on virtual like this, because every magic trick is really meant. These are really meant to be close-up magic that you get to see, you get to touch, you're right there. So you kind of miss all these things, right? And then as you noticed, cards started coming out from my mouth.
Yeah.
So you can replay it, right? But I do magic tricks like that. I do other things, other card tricks, which I don't have the angle for the camera, which is not the greatest. But on my sets, I have a above camera looking down on my gear and one looking at me, and I can do magic tricks that way. Because then you can see my hands, you can see everything in the card.
Yeah.
So, and then
It's
you
incredible.
can see that you can see that I'm not doing anything funny. Like
Yeah.
I wear sleeves all the time, like short sleeves, right? So it's not, I don't know where I can hide cards, right?
No, definitely. Now in terms of so you've told us that you were a mechanic and you do magic, you became a priest, you've done a lot of things. You work with the police.
Yeah.
Where did this musical journey come from? I mean, you said you only started DJing like 2 years ago. I mean, you're a pretty good DJ. You're not like okay, it's a gimmick, it's a hobby, but you're actually pretty good, right? So where did that come from?
Well, the way I am is I go 110% into everything. Like there's no, it's metal to the floor, right? It's for me, full throttle, right? So it's anything I get myself into, I will invest my time into it, learning things, right? So what happened was pandemic happened, right? Everyone knows about the pandemic. First time around, first lockdowns, I thought, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll do a YouTube video. I'll connecting only with my parishioners. So it was only my parishioners that had the video link, and they would ask me questions, theological questions, and different things. And I thought, okay, I would answer it. Some I would answer sitting down, and then I thought, you know what? Everyone's locked up. Maybe I'll go for a motorcycle ride, and I'll just do a motorcycle vlog. right? A moto vlog, and I'll just answer the questions as I'm riding the motorcycle, and they can see King City. They can see all the different greenery and all the stuff outside. So I started doing that, and but then the churches reopened, and then I had to stop, right? Because ministry went full blown. But then, if you remember, right after Christmas, there was another lockdown, right?
It was.
And at that time, my friend DJ KC Music, so he comes to my parish. He's a friend of mine. I knew him before I was a priest. I worked with his sister and brother-in-law. His brother-in-law is a mechanic, and he same classmate as mine. He's a classmate of mine from automotive, and he ends up coming here, and we started smoking our cigars. I got him into smoking cigars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I go, hey, if you're not doing anything after, so we weren't allowed to have masses, but what we would do is we have like what's known as a service, a Eucharistic service, and then people would come 10 at a time, and we'd give communion, and then close the door after 3 hours or 4 hours, right? And so what happened was on Saturday he would come, and I'm like, hey, why don't we'll go to the back, let's smoke a cigar and just relax. So he's a DJ. He was a radio DJ before, and so he was just getting back into DJing, and he was doing things on Mixcloud, and we were just listening to his mixes, and then he would send me his mix, and then one day he started playing live songs from Twitch because his friends DJ Agile, Channel 9, 210, those guys were all on, and they're his friends, and he was going on, and hey, how's it going, and chatting with them. I'm like, what's that? He's like, Twitch. And then he was like, I'm thinking of joining Twitch. I'm thinking of going on to Twitch and streaming. They're telling me to come and DJ. I'm like, oh, cool. And I said to him, you go on, I'll be your mod. I'll go on and be your mod, right? So he went on, and then I was his mod, and he would DJ. And then he said to me, he goes, yo, you should check out this guy named DJ Spen. Do you know who DJ Spen is?
No.
So DJ Spen is a big producer in the States. Quantize Records. So if you know Bobby Promo, he sends you records from like all the different music, like Capitol Music, music companies, record labels, and one of them is Quantize. So Mike Freak is part of Quantize. So he's done work with Robin S. He's done work with a whole bunch of different people. Anyways,
wow.
He says there's a guy named DJ Spen, and he's playing gospel house music on Sundays, gospel hour. He goes, you might like that. Try it out after your Sunday thing. Just check it out. So I started checking it out, and you know what happened was halfway through or partway through his set, he started like, preaching, right? Like,
okay.
He started saying, hey, we got to trust in God. God, and because he's a Christian, right? And he started preaching. I'm like, oh my goodness. I go, this is actually a pretty good platform. I wonder if I can do something like that. And so if you notice, I don't preach on my show, but I thought, okay, I like house music. So I'm going to call it House of God because they'll be in the house of God and playing house music. And well, I also like Euro and dance and freestyle too, because I like those also. But I thought to myself, and halfway through, people are always asking me for prayers. Why don't I open it up to the chat for prayers? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use that as a ministry so that when people need prayers, they come in, they listen to music, and then at 6:30, I give 5 to 10 minutes. I collect all the prayers, offer it up to God, and give them a blessing, and then continue going, right? And so that's been my format for the last 2 years. For House of God was my original original stream, and then my mom convinced me to do a pop-up Wednesday, all requests, because they wanted other songs, because my parents are always there, but they don't like house house music.
Right. Yeah.
They like the 60s music, and Aretha Franklin. And I kept on saying, no, I'm playing house, Mom. I'm not playing that stuff. So then I ended up doing a pop-up Wednesday. That's where I got my Denon from, right? That's why I got my Denon Prime 4, because then I can get music straight from the from SoundCloud or Beat Source.
Yeah, you could stream.
Yeah, they would just tell me, and you know how easy it is. I realized this after the fact. So I started that in December. So I started in October. In December, I started my pop-up Wednesdays, and I would try typing on the thing. If you get, because you have a Denon also, right? So
Yeah.
For your request, you're typing it in, right? Searching for it, and then you're waiting. And I'm like, it was only this year, 3 months ago, that I said, oh my goodness, why don't I just go onto SoundCloud on my phone, look at the music there, put it in the folder, and it'll pop up on my SoundCloud on the Denon.
Oh, yeah, you could do that too.
It does that right away. It was so much easier, faster for me to go like this, click, than like this on the screen. So as it's coming.
Fun fact.
What's that?
You can actually connect. An external keyboard to your Denon.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I know you can do that too. There's a lot of things I can do with the Denon. I also have this Denon.
I think I know. I think I know what you're going to show me here. This is the you have the Prime Go.
Prime Go.
There you go, the Prime Go. That's a very that right there is battery powered, ladies and gentlemen, which means you can literally DJ off that.
3.5.
And if you have
3.5,
if you have a set, if you have a set of wireless speakers, you could DJ wirelessly completely.
I do. Like I use this. I mean, this makes it my speakers. This makes my speakers there. My 2,000 watt alto speakers.
Yeah.
This makes it wireless.
There you go. Pure wireless setup right there. And we've been trying to get a sponsorship or a partnership with Denon, but hopefully that can help us out. You got somebody else on the channel here using Denon products, right?
Well, I don't know if you know all my gear, like what I use, right? So
I know you've switched. Like I know you had an SX3 or something.
Yeah, so what replaced the SX3 was the RX3, but upstairs in my one studio upstairs, for pop-up Wednesday, I have the Prime 4 and then two LC 6000s.
Right.
So the Prime 4 is a four channel, and then the two LC controllers.
Okay.
In the studio that's down here, not in the choir loft, but down here in the rectory, you'll see it this Wednesday. I have my my Pioneer S7 mixer, the SC 6000, and an LC 6000.
Okay. Actually, I want to ask you, how do you like the RX3? Because I've been like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I've been looking into it. I feel like it's like a downgrade technologically from Denon.
There's pros and cons. It is a downgrade from the Denon. It is, in terms of
it's reliable. My Denon Prime 2 is giving me problems.
My Prime 4 is okay.
I have a platter issue.
Oh, and I was gonna say I don't even think they're getting any support for that anymore, right? Because they did away with the Prime 2. But I would say Pioneer does have problems too. Like, I mean, they always have issues. Like even my SR2, my SR2 is okay, but my SX3, the reason why I got the RX3 was because the play button was sticking, and they have issues with that. All Pioneer, like you'll see the CDJs have that too, right? So I saw DJ Spen was in a big music festival thing that he's doing live IRL, and like the thing won't play, and he's like hitting it and it's not playing, and that's the thing. So you're just instant, you instant play, right? So you what's it called? Not instant play. Where you doubles, instant doubles.
Okay.
So you instant double, throw onto the one that's not working, and then use the working one with the new track coming in, right? And then you instant double over again to the other side. So
do you find do you find the screen of the RX3 to be hard to use because it's not multi-touch?
No, because I use the RX3 the same as I would the SX3. Right?
Okay.
So it's not, even though it's not multi-gestured, you get used to it really quick. Right? You get used to it really quick, and then even with the Denon, I rarely use the screen because I'm one of those, like, as a mechanic, if you use the screen more and that touch stuff, when that goes, that's going to be the hardest thing to replace and the most expensive. So it's easier to just use the scrolling knob, and if that breaks off, you replace that. Then the computer screen itself with the touchpad and all this stuff. So if you watch, you'll see I tend not to use the touch stuff as much as I do I scroll anyways. That's just a habit.
Right. So you're okay. So you started DJing a couple of years ago during the pandemic, but like, how did you even learn? I mean, did you just? I know you put over 100% in whatever you do, but did you look up YouTube videos? How did you learn how to beat match? Like, how did you? Yeah,
YouTube videos. Plus, I had friends before that were teaching me way before, like in high school. One of my friends was a DJ in high school, and I was in part of the crew, and I would be in the back lifting all the crates, carrying the crates and helping him with the speakers and setting up for his gigs. And I was always there, always listening to, and then I guess also when you go to enough clubs, and you're listening to music and you're listening and listening. And I also played music, right? So I played instruments. So I played baritone, trombone, piano, guitar, and so I can read music. I know what the bars are. I know what the beats are and equal. I know how many beats to a bar, right? If it's 4/4 timing. So all that stuff was easy and then I was watching YouTube videos, and then I would mix something. So I start off with 2 songs, beat match to 2 songs, record it, send it to my friends that are DJs and get their input. Then 3 songs, then 4 songs, then 5 songs, and then an hour long, and just get input. And that's about it. And then after about 6 months, so September, they were like saying, DJ KC was like, yeah, you can go on now. I'm like, no, I'm gonna go October 31st. That's when I'm gonna go on. I gotta become an affiliate first, then I gotta go on October 31st is my launch date, because it's the eve of All Souls Day was the idea.
Right.
So I can talk about All Souls Day and also start to catechize a little at the very beginning. So that's
What's like the longest stream that you've done? I mean,
this was long was 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah, that was this October 31st. Typically it's 3 hours, or sometimes 3 to 5 hours is typical. And especially when I get the big raids in from like my friend DJ Cristiana de Matos. So I'll go on an extra 2 hours or so for them.
Yeah, I see a lot of people have resonated with all the stuff that you do every week, and it's crazy because you can't keep up with the chat a lot of the times. I see that myself, and
I
then
don't even. Yeah, I probably miss everyone like this in there. Every now and then I'll catch it. Like I'll see. I don't know how many times I missed Euromania before. When Euromania comes in, and then he goes, Euromania, welcome in, and he's probably been there for like
right. Yeah.
Beginning.
I see that a lot. It's like what did I gifted subs like, and then you like shouted them out like half an hour later. I was like, okay. It's like this guy.
I think it's kind of like a grace period too, like meaning most people are like, oh, this is a priest, just we'll be nice to the priest, right?
Yeah. But in terms of so I know that you do House of God. What is it on Sundays?
House of God Sundays 5 to 8. But I can. Yeah. I'm debating whether I will do freestyle Euro a day freestyle Euro, and the reason being, and I'm going to change it from 3 hours to 5 hours on Sunday, so from 5 o'clock to 10 p.m. I do 5 to 8 mainly because some of my mods, their time zones are far, like so one's like in Netherlands, so when she's up on it's like 3 o'clock in the morning at like 8 p.m.
Oh my goodness.
So but I'm thinking of doing 5 hours because the one thing stopping me from, I'm so close to getting to partner.
Really?
Like if I can do partner, I would talk to a couple of my friends, like some of the other partners, like Icy Ice, Remark, Christiana, Dom Perignon. I don't know if I'll talk to her, but some of the other one, who's another Toronto one, would be Ali K DJ. If I talk to some of them to see when they're going on, so that I can try to bring up my numbers, or try to get my numbers up, because I've averaged the last 2 months over 56, right?
I think you need 75. No,
you need 75. Yes. So DJ Wina had said, when you get to, if you can average 50s, what's another 20, 25, right, to average? And in fact,
I think the challenge is being consistent, right? Like with
the things that will kill me will be every first Friday I do adoration, and I don't care about the numbers because that's for Christ. So I do 1 hour, holy hour adoration. So if you ever want to come and do a holy hour and pray in front of the Blessed Sacrament, it's there for 1 hour. I will only get 18 people max, 18 to 20 people max, because it's silent, right? There's no chatting, there's nothing. You're just coming in and praying. And you'll see my stats, like it'll be like the Sunday is like 53, sometimes 80, sometimes 70, right? And then you'll see my Wednesday is like 30, 40, sometimes 50. And then the first Friday is like down like this, right? And it's like, that's killing my average. But even still, that's not killing my average. That's not the hardest part, because if you read very carefully the partner thing, those are just, some partners can become partners even without meeting those criteria.
I saw that. Yeah.
So one of the things I think I can push is that Twitch has a great platform that we can collaborate, because I do have more parishioners and more live people than virtual people. And if I can get them to go onto Twitch, right? So they're always looking for possibilities. Like Twitch is always looking for possibilities of new people coming in, new streams of revenue. The other thing would be my problem would be timing. I with my streams, my regular streams, I'm lucky if I get 19 hours. That's without any raids.
I think you need 25, no? Something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. So I might be able to get 75, right? I think I can within the next few within half a year. I think I can do it. Two straight months in a row. I can get over 75. I think I can.
I don't know how it works though, because with Twitch, if you become a partner, can they like revoke that if you don't keep being consistent? No. Okay.
No, because I see a lot of partners that are like that, right? So there's a lot of partners where, like my niece's fiance is a partner on Twitch, One Taboo for video gaming, and he's got low numbers and he hardly goes on anymore. But he was there from day one since Twitch was there, right? So there was obviously a different standard, just like how there is with Kick, right? So people were going on Kick to get but eventually Kick will make it hard to become
right,
whatever it's called. It's not called affiliate. What is it called? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's
So
I remember Kick.
Yeah, the thing is, it's still like you can go there, be a big fish in a small pond, or you can. Twitch is actually bigger. So if you take a look at numbers and you take a look at volume, Twitch is far bigger, right? So Kick maybe I don't know, maybe I don't know if there's less politics, they get more, but there's no. So I did join Kick to support some of the other DJs, but I never went on Kick myself, like to stream. But I could have quickly, like, I mean, I already had like within like 3 hours they got me, like some of the DJs got me like 100 followers already. I'm like, what? It's
insane. You have so much support, and it's just it's crazy. Your average is higher than ours. It's just it's insane. You're really killing it with the streams and everything, and it's amazing to see. And when it comes down to like you doing it in the church, is that like do you I don't know, like is it challenging to have to like lock the doors or something like that, or is it?
No, the church doors are already locked, so I know no one's in there. But it is a little bit more work that I have to do. So to be honest, it's easier for me to do any setup in the house. So my 2 studios in the house, really easy, because I can just power off everything and leave it there and then clean it the next day. In the church, I have to pack up because there's a choir that's going to be practicing. So I got to clean up all my stuff. I got to make sure it's all locked up so they don't open it up. And I have it in the flight case. I have the flight case locked up around the table so it can't be moved. I have I have to lock everything up. I have to make sure anything that's breakable is put away. Then I have to lock the choir loft door. Then I have to go to the tabernacle. I have to put back the Blessed Sacrament because I removed the Blessed Sacrament while I play, right? So Jesus is not in the tabernacle.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Because I'm playing secular music most of the time, right? So some of the house music is secular. So and it's not liturgical. But except if you were here on Sunday, I played some Christmas songs, right? Someone was asking for some Christmas songs, so I was playing gospel house, Christmas house songs, right? So, but other than that, because I'm playing, sometimes I don't even know. There are some songs that have swear words in it, right? So better to be safe than sorry. So I move the Blessed Sacrament out of the church. So I gotta clean that back up. I gotta turn off all the lights, and then so it takes a lot longer to set up and
you have to set up and tear down, and you have to do all that.
Yeah. So by the time if I finish at 8, I'm done at 9 o'clock. Like that's an hour, man. Right?
Yeah. And now that you're gonna do 10, it's gonna be even
11 o'clock. Yeah, I know.
That is wow.
But that's only if I want to be partner. And then the other thing was, so I'm the battle I have is this. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm so close. I think I can. And then the voice comes from my head is like, this is not for you. So I didn't start this stream for me. I started this stream for Christ. Right? So it's not for me to become a partner. It doesn't matter if I become a partner, right? It doesn't really matter at all. It's about me doing what I'm supposed to be doing, getting it out there, doing the prayers, and that's why the first Friday adoration, I don't care how small it is and how it messes up my my stats. But either way, it was never for me. And I guess the thing I always put, like with any of my hobbies, if it takes precedent over prayer, over what I'm supposed to be doing, I will drop my hobby right away. So
really,
that's the same thing with Twitch, right? So if Twitch becomes more about me, one day you'll never see me on Twitch again. You'll know why.
It takes a special kind of like selflessness and dedication to God to have that voice in your head. It's just I mean, myself and many others can't experience that, but you did, and that's something that I'll never comprehend and never understand. When you say that, like the voice in my head, I mean, is that voice like coming from, this is what you're supposed to do, or is that voice like
one can say the voice of God, but I would think it's my conscience.
Okay.
My conscience is saying to me that, hey, I know I'm a priest for God. I'm not a DJ. And I would say that. I always say I'm not a DJ. I'm a priest who plays music, right? And and you come for music and then prayer, right? So the moment that anything becomes more about me, like this is like, because in the ministry, it's exactly the same thing. Like, look, I literally talk to thousands of people every weekend at Mass. And when I was in the Office of Vocations, I went around the entire diocese giving presentations to schools, to full stadiums of high schools with thousands of kids, World Youth Day with millions of people, so it's not like I can't be public. But the moment that it's more about me than it is about Christ, that's when it becomes dangerous for a priest, right? And then I've always said that to my friends, even with my other hobbies. So there's always a priority, and that's the same like for anyone. I would suggest that, like, it doesn't have to be about church or about God, but look, the moment your DJing takes over from your family life, you should know there's a problem there, right? And your family life takes precedent. Like if you have children and a wife, they take precedent over the music and your job. Because even if you're trying your best to work, if you lose your wife and your child, there's no point. What's the point of working so hard, right? So there's always that thing to be grounded and rooted in. And so it doesn't for me, it's going to be Christ. But for someone else that's maybe not a priest or a religious brother or sister, it's going to be their family. And I say that all the time. Like I see other people that are on 24 hours. I'm like, whoa, well, what about your family? What about your husband? Doesn't your husband need a little bit of time, with you? And don't neglect that, right? So you have to be balanced, right? That's why during COVID, you might have seen me here quite often on Twitch, because I didn't have a lot of ministry. We weren't allowed in the nursing homes. We weren't allowed in the hospitals. We weren't allowed to visit even parishioners that wanted their house blessed and stuff. We couldn't do those things, right? So I had a lot more time. But as you see, when things opened up and when I'm not really on as often as people wanted, and I really wanted to go to that to your live event, right? But
Oh yeah,
It was on
yeah.
a
I
Saturday.
invited you to the live event. I
Really
was,
can't.
but you know what? I figured, I like even something as simple as let's say, I thought about it. I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should ask Father Damian one day to take over the Saturday stream, but it goes really late, and I know you have
I have
your
morning
masses
mass early. But it's not
on
just
Sunday.
mass. I gotta wake up. I gotta wake up at 6 o'clock and pray. Right. So I have my own prayers that I gotta do before
Right.
mass. Some weekdays I wake up at 5. Right. So because Tuesdays and Thursdays I have 7:30 a.m. confession, 8 o'clock mass, and then I have other things that I'm doing, and then so I got to wake up
Yeah.
even earlier to do my prayers and my stuff. So yeah, like it
Now,
does become, yeah.
what are the chances that, like, obviously you're a pastor where you are at Saint Monica, but what are the chances the archdiocese will like move you around and is that likely? Like how would that change
Oh,
things?
it's 100% likely,
Yeah,
because every priest is moved. So every associate, so those are newly ordained priests or priests
yeah,
that can't run parishes on their own. Every associate is appointed to a parish for 2 to 4 years. So they'll be moved either after 2 years or after 4 years. It is a guarantee. Every pastor is appointed for 6 to 12 years. So it's 6 years renewable. So 6 years is a full term. And then you can renew it for another 6 years. But then after that, you have to be, they will move you. Or they can move you previous. So I know pastors that became pastors, and then because of the need, they were moved within 3 years. So they were moved to another place that needed them because they had lost a priest. Like I was an associate pastor for a year and 6 months up in Bolton before I came here. And the reason why I didn't complete 2 years is the priest in this parish died in this parish. And they needed a priest to fill the spot, right? So, and I was the next name up, right? So they don't have a lot of lists of names to, like, we're not ordaining hundreds of men every year. So I was the next one, next associate to be made a pastor. So I became a pastor December 1st. So usually our moves are January. Sorry, not January. Our moves are in July, in the summer, because
it's kind of unfortunate because once the community gets used to the head of the church there, and then they move that head of the church, just it's not the same, I don't know.
it isn't. But also communities are never the same. So I've been here for
Yeah.
10 years, right? And I can tell you there are some people that have been here for more than 10 years, but a vast majority, at least 60% to 70% of them, there's a turnover, right?
Well, it's a developing area too where you're at. Like they're building condos and everything like crazy,
Yeah.
right?
And most families don't live in condos, and the cost of living
Mhm.
in mid Toronto is not the same. So the moment they have like 2 or 3 children, they leave and go to the suburbs, right? They go to Pickering, they go to Ajax, to Brooklyn.
Right.
And now they're going up to Uxbridge because it's cheaper, a little bit more cheaper than
Yeah.
maybe they might go to Bradford
Mhm.
or Barrie, maybe, like where there's more space and more
Yeah.
land. But definitely they're not sticking around in this area with condos, because 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms don't do for families of 6, right?
Oh, I can't afford it either.
No, yeah, I know. I think the
Yeah.
rent is like 4,000 for a 2 bedroom.
Yeah, it's insane. Insane. I got Exquisite here asking, who were your role models that you looked up to during your life journey?
Role models. Can I Exquisite? Do you mean like role models in good ways, or like as like priestly role models, or I mean, I could tell you, like, as a mechanic, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
You kind of look like The Rock.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
There you go. There you
DJ
go.
Exquisite. What's your
Know
name?
your role.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Yeah.
No, I would think my home pastor at St. Thomas More, Father John Duffy, was a big role model.
Yeah.
Growing up from high school, because he was in the military, right? He was a tough guy, right? So his nickname in the seminary was the Duke. You know, John Wayne, the Duke. So because he would like, challenge people that were against the faith, right? He would get up, even if it's a priest or the professors, he would challenge them, and he got this nickname, the Duke. Every time I remember going into his office, because he was a seminarian at my home parish, and then he became the pastor there. And in his office, you'll see him. He's got an M16, like the Canadian version, right? And he's jumping out of a chopper, right? In his Canadian military gear. And then you look at his desk, he's got like a fake grenade, you know, almost like me having this, this is right.
It looks like a bullet or a missile.
A 50 cal. It's a 50 cal, right? But it's fake. It's fake.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Right? It's fake. But he would have this thing that he got from the military, and it had his name on there, right? And he would just put it there. I'm like, man, Father John, I guess people don't really come in and argue with you, right? Right? He's just like, oh, look, it's, they don't. Samus J, look, this is the biggest weapon. Ready? Are you ready? You want to see the biggest weapon in my arsenal? All right. And you can go and tell everyone. The rosary. There you go. Prayer.
There you go.
Because you know what? I can tell you stories about like exorcisms and stuff like that. Even if you had a bullet, it's not going to stop it.
Right.
It's not going to stop demons. Boxing Hut Salsa knew I was going to pull out the rosary.
There we go. He's from Jerusalem. We're gonna have Samus J here on. We're gonna do an interview with him down the road, maybe next week. But parents have scriptures and linen.
Is Samus J? Are you here in Canada or you're from Jerusalem?
He's in Australia.
Oh, he's
in Melbourne.
Oh,
yeah,
Melbourne.
Yeah,
that's when I said, Melbourne in the house. Yeah.
So it's fantastic. This is like very fascinating, and I know that we've never had you on the channel as a DJ, but I just found your story so fascinating, just because you're doing something that is not very common, right? Being a DJ, being a priest, and you do it selflessly as well, right? You do giveaways on the channel. You promote your faith, right? On the channel and everything. So
I think I promote without being pushy. That's also important. I don't expect you to be like, we have people that are Jewish that are there, right? And coming in. I know.
Okay.
Like I know there's a few that are atheists also, and that's okay. Listen to the music. That's why I play music, right? And and everyone can use prayers. So, even I've had over the 2 years, people that were proclaimed atheists will say, Father, I don't really pray, but can you pray for this for me? Sure. no problem, right? That people will pray. You know what I think of? I think of Talladega Nights. Remember Talladega Nights? Have you ever seen that with Will Ferrell? Is it Will Ferrell? Yeah, I think.
Will Ferrell. Yeah.
And he feels like he's burning, and he's down to his underwear. He's running, and he's going, "Baby Jesus, help me!" And he goes, "Allah, help me!" And he's like listing all the different gods, "Help me!" Right? But what I feel is, I heard it once said from this military police psychologist. His name is Colonel Grossman, and he was talking about during war. When your life is almost ready to, like you're going to die, there are things that happen, realities that happen. So people think about what they should have done, like they failed to tell their wife they love them, or that they yelled at the last thing they did was yell at their wife, or made a big stink or whatever, when it didn't have to happen, and they're in the midst of battle, and gun bullets are going through, and they can very well die. And then the other thing that people think of is they pray, even if they don't believe in God. They pray, "May I get out of this?" So, like even if they don't believe in a God, they're praying to the universe. They're praying to something that they hope to get out of there alive. So something beyond themselves, right? And humans have that capacity. So even if they don't believe in a God, they will add their prayers and say, "Okay, I'm going to pray for this one person. I'm going to pray," like because like if people are asking for prayers, like someone says, "Listen, can you pray for me because I have cancer?" Even if you're an atheist, you're not going to say, "I'm not going to pray for you." You might pray to who you think. You may pray to the universe and say, "Okay, I don't believe in God, but I pray that I pray that the doctors and everyone heals you," right? So everyone can have that goodwill towards others, and so during the time of prayer, people ask for things, right?
Right. I can, of course, when people especially when they're in dire straits, they hope for a higher power to get them out of the situation.
Well, think about AA. If you've ever taken any 12-step programs, the first one is recognizing a higher power, right?
Right, definitely. Yeah. So I don't. It's literally like talking. Like time flies, right? But your channel, your Twitch channel, your DJing stuff. What's on the horizon for that? Do you have any other plans for that? I mean, besides the whole partner stuff, what do you like? What do you have planned?
Well, I'm planning. Like I said, I'm planning maybe to extend Sundays to 5 hours instead of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly because I'm seeing people are coming in, not dropping off, right? So if I looked at the trends and I saw people dropping off because they're getting tired, then I wouldn't stay. And maybe I would end up doing 2 prayer sessions instead of 1. I don't know. And then I was also thinking, because I do like playing. So whenever Irish Dragon has me in one of his raids with freestyle and stuff like that, I do like playing freestyle and Euro. So reminds me back in the clubbing days.
Right. You can expand, right?
Yeah. The only thing would be, the question would be, what do I do? When do I do it? Oh, I'm like 91 away from 4,000.
Wow, look at that. Absolutely crazy, man. How much you've grown and on Twitch and everything. But that's right. So you're doing a show tomorrow, right?
I am. Tomorrow's show though is all requests. So literally,
Right.
there's like really no mixing involved. But the one time I do mixing is when the requests are all done, or I hit any hype train, level hype train. So even if it's a one level 1 hype train, doesn't matter. I will do this thing called Wheel of Genre. And so
Okay.
I've got a spinning wheel that has all the different genres from like 60s, 70s disco, 80s music, 90s R&B, hip hop, freestyle, Euro dance, house, rock. I'll just spin it, and whatever it lands on, I'll play 4 to 5 songs out of that.
Right.
Oh,
That's
here, like
awesome.
I should give you a gifted sub.
No.
Give you a gifted
I
sub.
I kind of just want to show people,
Well,
like what it is that you do, right? I mean, but it's kind of lagging here on Twitch. But if you have it in you tomorrow on Wednesday, why don't you tune into Father Damian? His username on Twitch is Father Damian.
one.
It's not working. Yeah, Father Damian, and the number 1, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Father Damian number
Father,
1, and it's Damian. There it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Father Damian 1.
Father Damian 1, and it's really incredible. I know tomorrow you're going to be doing it from
8 to 10
inside your home.
inside the home, yeah.
Yeah, but if you tune in on Sundays, you'll be able to catch him actually DJing and spinning music from house music, that is, from his, like the parish, like the the parish, the church itself, right? And if you're lucky enough, you'll catch him like walking to the altar.
Yeah, and there's
Which,
one
how
thing
often does that happen?
every week I go
Every week.
once or twice to the altar. Yeah. So if I get to a
Yeah.
level 7 hype train, I take you to the altar. So that also happens on Wednesdays. So when I
Oh, does
started,
it?
yeah, it happens on Wednesdays too, because once I hit a level 7 hype train, I'll take you to the altar. And it actually started that way because in the summer, I started streaming inside because there's no air conditioning in the church.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets extremely hot and humid. And I don't like the equipment up there, like on and stuff like that, and my computers and all that stuff. So I just started streaming from inside the house. And at the time, the coldest room was the room with the Denon Prime 4. So you might have seen me there on a Sunday. And so people wanted to see the church, and so they get to level 7. I take them with me to the church. And that's how that started. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we'll do a level, because there used to be level 5 hype train. I'll run to the altar, and you'll see me go to the altar, but the camera is still up on the choir loft. And then level 7, I was like, okay, well, now I'm gonna take you to the altar. Ellie Ocean says, touch his emote, it will show his channel. Oh, okay.
As you can see, we got Father Damian 1 right here. So if you're watching this after the fact, it's very simple. Just go on Twitch, and it's phenomenal. And that's why I brought him on here for an interview. And it's fascinating also the journey that you've been on, because it's crazy where you're like, I don't know, you floored me when you said you wanted to be an accountant. It's like there's so many paths.
I know, but all that stuff, it's so funny. Look, God always uses everything, because as a pastor, I have to look at the books. So I can balance the books. I can look at it. I do my finance council. I'm the head of my finance council here. Wow. So it is like I'm doing accounting. Right?
Do you have an associate pastor? Sorry, an associate?
That's right. No? Associate. It is. It's called associate pastor. No,
it's just you, right?
Just me. I'm the only one here.
How is that? Like, is that Is that a detriment to you, or is it kind of like
It is hard. It's harder. It
yeah.
is harder. So I
You
can't.
gotta do every mass?
Yes, I preach every
Right.
mass. I do every mass. Except for Thursdays, I call in a priest, guest priest. So a guest priest comes in, a retired priest. But it's hard to find priests on Sundays. So whenever I take a holiday, it is Monday to Friday. That's it.
Oh wow. Do you have it? Do you speak any other languages?
I do not. I've been invited to places like Portugal and I speak a little bit of something. Like I know how to say hello in almost every language. Like the Filipino, I know the bad words in certain
Yeah.
languages.
Right.
So I have a lot of Filipinos here in my parish, so I can say good morning, magandang umaga, magandang hapon is good afternoon, magandang gabi is good evening, and then salamat po is thank you, right, with respect. Um, what else? I don't know. You think I'd know Italian since I do Latin, but I
There's only English mass, right? Where you're at.
yeah, there's only English in my church.
Okay.
The only Spanish I know is from when I was a mechanic, and I would travel
Oh,
to like Mexico to Puerto Vallarta or Cancun.
right,
Uh,
right, right.
they taught me, "Eres muy linda, ¿quieres bailar conmigo?"
Oh, there you go.
You know what that means?
Yeah, I do.
Eres
I
muy
do.
linda, ¿quieres bailar conmigo?
You're
You're
very
beautiful.
beautiful. Do you want to dance
Like
with me?
dance with me. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Or
There you go. There you go.
what is it? ¿Dónde está mi cerveza?
All right. Yeah, it was my beer.
That's back from when I was a mechanic. So I can't
Okay.
say I don't know. I don't know anything else. But people always want to teach me. And on Twitch, uh, German, Guten Abend. Hey, good evening. Guten Morgen.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Guten Morgen. Yeah. It's awesome stuff.
Dankeschön. Dankeschön. Thank you. Dankeschön. Like so, whenever because I have if I was to list how many different countries people come from to listen to on Sundays, they're like, there's people from Germany. They don't even speak English, and they're using the translator, Google Translate, and then they will translate something, and I know they're from Germany, but all I can say is Dankeschön. That's all I know, right? Thank you. Right.
Yeah. I'm sure that you've had a lot of people from the actual like Twitch streams like come visit you, not only come visit you, but like seek you out
Oh
based on
yeah,
that, no?
actually yeah, like DJs in Toronto. So I've met up with
Yeah.
DJs in Toronto. I've met up with
Like they're like bringing you into their circle.
we're going to Johnny's together. Like there's
Johnny's
like
hamburgers or
yeah,
Johnny's
there's
what?
the Johnny's hamburgers, yeah, on Victoria
Oh,
Park.
they're great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a picture circulating with like 5 or 6 of us Toronto DJs like there, right? So there's
Oh.
DJ Solid, G Caps, NK1. There's the Machine JT. There's a bunch of them like that are there. Pauly Lopez, and who else was there? There was some other people there, and then they took a picture there. We've gone to Johnny's a couple times. I have mods that reach out to come out and chat with me and talk with me. Some of the other ones, like you may know, I think you know Vinny Vegas.
I know Vinny Vegas. Yeah,
You know
he's
Vinny Vegas, right?
I've seen him several times.
Okay, so he's come to my church. Like, well, I didn't even recognize him one Sunday. He's like, "Hi, I'm Vinny Vegas." I'm like, hey.
Oh yeah.
There's also DJ FBM. He's been off for a while on Twitch. He hasn't been on Twitch for a while because he's been doing more live events. but he was the one that was doing the Electric Circus stuff.
Oh wow!
And he was a dancer for Electric Circus.
DJ FBM.
Yeah, he's a Filipino guy. He was one of the dancers in when Electric Circus was. You remember the Electric Circus was it City TV or?
It was on City TV. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was when it was there live, he was one of the dancers, right? So.
Oh wow.
So he's if you ever see his channel, like his emotes are like the WWE wrestling emotes, like the Intercontinental Belt and the
oh yeah.
But yeah, he's a Filipino DJ, older, probably around my age. But
you ever gotten any offers for gigs?
I have, actually.
Really?
But I've declined.
You have to decline.
I think there was one. I think I said I might think about it still. It's for 2024. There might be a place. There's a festival, a whole bunch of different DJs. I know 1G Money always likes inviting me to places. He invited me last year to Center Island. His daughter was also spinning there. And he said, "Oh, it'll be so great if you can come and spin too." I'm like, I don't know. I have mass, man. I go, I don't end mass till 6. I go, when does it end? He goes, around 8, but we can extend it. I can get them to extend it. I'm like, because by the time mass finishes, I clean up. Then I got to drive down, find parking, go down there. And I use everything, right? So you
gotta take a ferry, Center Island. You gotta take a ferry.
I use Record Box. I use Serato. I use Engine. So I will have my Record Box key, but I have to get things all ready, and I'm like, it's gonna be kind of late, right? And then I gotta go early because I gotta wake up for mass the next morning, right? So it's not like So that was the hardest part. Was I had a Monday off. There was a long weekend, and I had finished my set early. So I started my set at 4, not 5, and I finished at 7, not 8. And then I rushed to his house where he lives in the West End. And then I spun at his house till midnight with Infiltrate 808. But one DJ from the States invited me to go to a festival and maybe do a 2-hour set. 1G Money would be there. Other DJs would be there. They would pay for my flight and my hotel and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Well, I was like, I am a priest, right? So I can't just leave.
Yeah.
So
it's insane that it's incredible that you're getting all these offers and everything. But of course, like you said earlier, what comes first is are your duties as a priest, right?
Exactly. And that even the school, the parents associations at the schools ask me to come and DJ for their school. So you would think I would do it, right? Because people, just go do it. You'll get some money and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, no, I can't do it because, the school is going to do it at this time. I have to set up. I have to do this. I have to do that. Plus, I have to also then get ready I have to do my night prayer. I have to wake up for mass the next day. I have other things too. And I don't know if there's any emergencies coming in. So what happens if York Regional Police calls me? I got to go in. So do I drop the DJ stuff and go, or do I do the DJ stuff? And then do I leave the person that needs me, part of my ministry, hanging, or do I do the DJ? And so I say, it's better that you get a professional that's able to, that's their focus will be to make sure they're there for you. Whereas I can't give you that guarantee, right? So you can hire me, but I can't give you a guarantee that I'm not going to go to the hospital to anoint someone that's dying.
Yeah.
So I might get called partway through, and like, where's Father going? I'm going to a hospital. I have to anoint someone that's dying, because if your grandmother or your mother was in the hospital dying, would you want the priest to say, "Well, wait, I got 3 more hours to go on a set for DJing," or would you want me to come now? Right. So that's
100%. Yeah.
so I
Does that kind of stuff, like, does it weigh down on you or anything? Like when you obviously anointing somebody who's on their deathbed, or somebody, when you have to meet with somebody with the police, and let's say something happened that's, something that's serious. Does that weigh down on you at all?
No, I see peace. Like when they come and
Mm-hmm.
they ask for anointing and the families ask for anointing, there's a healing that's happening at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's a physical healing, certainly there's a spiritual healing between family members, between the person that's dying and their loved ones. There's a healing
Mm-hmm.
moment there, a time to say goodbye, a time to show love, and the person's not dying alone. So yeah, it's never that's never really the hard nothing. I have not seen anything that overweighs me. Put it that way. I don't think, and I think I was meant to be a priest because I have the temperament for it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it might affect a lot of other people, some people, but it doesn't affect me. And I can empathize with people and be there for them too, and cry with them and journey with them and laugh with them on the good times with baptisms and marriages, and on the sad times of deaths and
Mm-hmm.
funerals. So, and journeying when they're sick with like cancer, and and they're dying, or they're going through chemo, and they're looking for prayers, and they're looking for you to talk with them, to journey with the homeless, to journey with those that are um, have psychological issues and problems. Yeah, so it doesn't overweigh me because it's not my. For me, I always see it as Christ is working through me, so He's taking most of the weight, anyways. Right?
Right.
He's just using my presence, but He'll speak through me and do everything through me. So He's the one that takes those weights. And Samus J asked,
Yeah, I was just going to get to that. I have a question. Do you think in today's time, atheism is at an all-time high, especially between teens and early adults?
actually, no, I don't think so. I think the people are searching for something. And actually, when you take a look at the world around, whether there is some form of religion going around that everyone's searching for something. I don't think atheism is at a real time high. It might just appear like that because the world seems like secular world seems to try to instead of pushing one religion, they try to be general, so don't push any. But that doesn't mean that people don't practice, right? So what I see teens all the time, and high school and university children, and stuff like that. And some of my mods are all high school students, right? I give them volunteer hours for modding on Sundays. Easiest volunteer hours you'll ever get is from Father Damian. You don't even have to go to my school here in Marshall
That
McLuhan.
is it.
You can be
I
anywhere.
went to I went to Marshall.
You went to Marshall McLuhan?
I graduated from there. Yeah.
That's my school that I'm the priest of.
Yeah, I graduated in 07, so it was before your
Oh
time,
yeah,
right?
way before my time. You were there with Father
Yeah,
Kelly.
I
Father
think so. I don't really remember there being like a lot of religious stuff in high
No,
school compared to
yeah, because
elementary school.
apparently when I got there, so Linda Izzo was there,
Yeah,
your chaplain, but she's still there
yeah.
now. But when I got there, prior to COVID, I would go in every Tuesday, celebrate period one mass. Linda
Mm-hmm.
would get a whole bunch of two grades in for the mass. It'd be really quick, and then they would have 30 minutes to ask me any questions they want. Any questions in regards to religion, in regards to morality, in regards to whatever they want. And there was no subject that was taboo. A lot of questions led towards like exorcisms and reality of demons and stuff like that. But they were still hungering. Like even the ones that thought they were atheists, they were still hungering for something, like for purpose, right? Because even if you're an atheist that doesn't believe there's more to life, then there's no point of really living, right? So if life is just about you accumulating money and then dying, and you can't take it with you anywhere, or you can't, then what's really the point? And then if your children can enjoy it, but they die anyways, and they can't, they might or might not keep on your legacy, it ends up becoming like nothing, right? And so eventually, some real true atheists are easier to dialogue with, right? Because they're not angry about no God or God, right? They just don't care. Like it's like to them it doesn't exist, and they won't be angry. So some people that claim to be atheists but that are really angry against those that claim that there is a God, they're really not atheists, because they're so vehement about proving the non-existence of God that in their arguments they're kind of fighting like a non-existence of a thing that they shouldn't even believe in. But a true atheist really just doesn't care, have a point of view. Look, just be a good person, right? Just be virtuous.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Real Mac. Even the youth want something to believe in. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, this has been very, very interesting. Very, like I there's a lot of things that I didn't know about you. Even the whole like police chaplain situation, and you accountant, and all that stuff. So honestly, guys, make sure you check out Father Damian 1 on Twitch every Wednesdays for pop-up Wednesdays, or was it All Request Wednesdays?
All Request Wednesday, yeah. And it's every second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. And Samus J, that was a good question. But to give you a better perspective, social media is not much. So think of it like this. So you may see a lot of young people on social media posting things, but what is the percentage of people comparatively, right? So I can tell you World Youth Day pulls in over 1 million youth in a country, right? There was over 1 million youth in Toronto in 2003 or 2002. 2003?
I think it was 2 or 3, I think.
When John Paul II came here.
Well, John Paul II was here, yeah.
Yeah, and then when other World Youth Days, there was a World Youth Day that happened in Portugal, right? Or just recently, you're having millions of youth around the world, young adults and youth, that are gathering, praying. So the point is, and then that's only the Catholics, but you have other things like Christian denominations. You have Islam, you have Judaism, you have but it's just they're not the ones that are really on much social media, right, or promoting those things. So you'll see for every one atheist, there's one Ben Shapiro, or one what's the girl's name? The Christian girl on YouTube. Shoot, I forgot. She's called the female Ben Shapiro. Because she works also for the Daily Wire. I forgot what her name is, but for every one, there's another one of that, or a Candace Owen, or so it's and as you know, social media will feed you only what you're looking for, right? So the algorithm just gives you what you're looking for. but for every one that you see, there's another one posting the exact opposite, right? So somewhere around the world, someone's posting something about faith. That's why social media can be very deceptive in that way. And there's something much bigger. Like I see it in the church, right? So I see the youth in the church. I see the little kids in the church with their families. So, yeah, I mean, it is true that the world tries, like the world might not want you to talk about many, like your God, so that you don't make other people feel out of place. So they may remove it, but it might not be malicious. Like at first, they might not think it's malicious. It might be, it might not be, but in practice, I think there's still a lot of youth that believe in God and believe in something.
Do you find there's a lot less men trying to become priests now?
Yeah, but that actually statistically, there's a lot less people getting into marriage. It's not a vocation problem. It's a commitment problem in the Western world. In the Western world we live in, there's so many distractions and so many things that are offered to us that you would to commit yourself 100% till death do you part, lifelong. I'm seeing that in marriages. Marriages are later and later and later, not earlier, right? People are getting married now in their 40s, right?
Yeah, but it's also harder to make a life for yourself because of the higher cost of living, right? It's just right.
What's to stop you from doing it both ways? Like, I mean, people get married, live with their parents, and then people have gotten married, live with their parents, save up, buy their house, and give a little. There's many different things, or renting, starting off to rent. I married a couple in Orangeville, from Orangeville and Bolton, were pretty young. They were like in their early 20s, 22 and 24. And that was an oddity because on average, you're looking at people in their 30s. And the women will find that harder because as their biological clock is ticking, right?
Yeah.
When you're waiting till 40s and 50s and almost menopause, it becomes harder to start a family. Right? Not impossible, but harder, right? And then when you're 50 years old, imagine running after your child, because then when your child's 20, you're 70, right? So
I know that's.
But the study that showed it was a study that showed that it's not a problem with vocations, like to the priesthood. It's a problem with vocations everywhere, like giving a commitment, 100% commitment at an early age, right? So that you say, yeah, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, right? So, I mean, that might be contributed to society, nature or nurture, but I'm pretty sure it's going to change. I mean, I just saw a couple here that were very young, married. I knew her when I was a seminarian up at Blessed Trinity, and now she's here. She finished university. They're now working. They're both married. They're living in this area. There has a child on their way, and it's like, wow. I mean, but you don't see that in my church, really. Like, even though it's young in Eglinton, I see older people that are married with children, young children. So I had a man that was here. He looked like he was in his 40s, and his son was in grade 6. So I'm older than like he's my age, 40s, and the son is in grade 6. Whereas my sister, who is 1 year older than me, my niece is almost 30 years old.
Oh wow!
Right?
She had her when she was young.
No, she had her when she was an adult, 20 something, 21.
Right.
right?
Well, I mean, younger than
younger than what's normal, right? Younger than So so all my nieces and nephews are pretty much almost, well, with the exception of two of them, are done high school and university from both my sisters, but two of them are in high school, right? Their youngest ones are in high school, right? So you're looking at 15, 16, 16 years old. They're 16. They're driving this year. Oh my goodness. My youngest niece is 16 years old, and her cousin, my nephew, is 16 also. So that's like, I mean, they started younger too, right? That's not, they started, I would say, is average age of giving birth, right? Mid-20s,
right,
early to mid-20s, right?
Yeah.
But it's weird because like what I see when I marry people, I'm seeing
older people,
early 30s to late 30s.
Right. Yeah.
So
wow. Father Damian, I don't want to take up more of your time. It's like, wow, we've been going since 8:00, but thank you so much for your time. Because I know you have a limited amount of time given what you do and all the things that you have to do for your church and everything. But hey, you know what? If anybody wants to go to your parish and they live in Toronto, they can do so, right?
Yes,
And
they can.
Father Damian will be there with open arms at St. Monica's at Yonge and Eglinton, right?
Yeah, 44 on Broadway, actually. So if you've never gone to Broadway, I'm on Broadway.
I've never seen a church there. I pass by there sometimes. I miss it. I don't know.
Yeah, you know where North Toronto is? The high school, North Toronto?
No.
Okay, so you know where the on Yonge Street, you know where the
the Tim Hortons there, right?
Yeah, that's, so you got to go in. You got to go more east, and Broadway is now a one-way street, right? It's now it goes west only. So there's a high school there called North Toronto that's part of a condo, and then they have like a full.
I think I've seen it. It's got a bunch of. It's got like a field and like a garage or something.
It's got a full a professional football field and a track, Olympic-sized track. That is directly across from St. Monica's. Good night, Euromania. See, I see that because I'm not trying to DJ and talk and do many things. I can see the chat. Thank you, DJ Exquisite.
So you can visit Father Damian and all that. I'm sure I'll come visit you eventually. I don't live too far from there, but also if you want to check him out on Twitch, he'll be on tomorrow at 8 p.m. Is it 8 p.m?
8 p.m. Get some of your songs ready. Please make sure it's FDA, which means Father Damian approved. So it's got to be like PG-13, or sorry, PG, not PG-13. I was saying PG-13, and then my mods were telling me PG-13 still includes swearing. I'm like,
it does. What? It does, yeah.
Because when I was growing up, I thought PG-13 was like the little kids stuff, like cartoons and stuff.
No. PG. That's PG. That's all G actually. But
you keep it a
PG-13. PG-13 is mild swearing.
Okay, so keep it a PG. So I'm not going to be playing Busta Rhymes unless I could get a clean version.
You can get clean versions, yeah.
I don't know, but I don't have time to do it, right? Because it's right there live, right? So I'm looking it up on SoundCloud, and I because I'm putting it on the phone, I just go and click the first one, and it's hilarious. So sometimes I'll get a song request, right? And because I can't sample it, right? Ice Cube's okay, but no what? Some Ice Cube, no Vaseline. So sometimes I'll press it. I'll go, yeah, this is the right one. And I start to play it, and it's a cover, and the person singing it is terrible, and I'm just laughing So I'm just laughing, going, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I like Backstreet Boys. I think it's Backstreet Boys because it has the the Backstreet Boys cover on it, and it's like I want it this way or whatever. I like it this way, and then you play it, and it's a voiceover, like a cover, and the person singing it. No offense to them, it might have sounded really good. To someone, it might sound really good, but it was not harmonically great to the ears. It's the best way, the most polite way I can put it.
I know what you're talking about.
And I'm laughing the whole way through. I'm so sorry. Let me try to find the right one.
Yeah.
Canadian Dave, welcome in. I mean, I guess
where's Canadian Dave? There he is. Yeah.
I guess you've been here already.
Thank you so much, Father Damian, for everything. We're going to have Samus J next time. We've been delaying that one, but we will have him next time. And you know what? I had to cross you off the...
Well, you got cut off there.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
You have to cross and then you stop.
Samus. Yeah, we have to cross. We have to cross you off the list, and we also have to cross Samus. But thank you so much, guys. Make sure you follow him up on Twitch, Father Damian 1, number 1. MC Tom. Make sure you plug that in again.
I'm the only DJ priest on Twitch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. The only DJ priest with the only last name in the world.
Yep, that's right. No, second. My dad has it too, right?
Okay, your dad. Okay, yeah, okay. The last one.
But I'm the last.
Okay, wow. Well, thank you so much, Father Damian. It was a pleasure. I hope you have yourself a good evening, and we look forward to hearing you again on your channel.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Okay.
And do you play on Sundays?
I play on Saturdays,
but not on Sundays.
No. I play on Saturdays. Sometimes there's a pop-up during the week, but it's mostly Saturday nights and it's surprising because there's a lot of people that we get a lot of people. I guess they're home, right? But yeah. Saturday to early Sunday morning. There we go.
Saturday to early Sunday morning. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Father Damian.
You're welcome. Okay.
Have
a good night.
Have yourself a good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
God bless. Bye.
Take care.